morning once again, and welcome to the Haven Financial Group radio show. We appreciate you listening this morning, where we're talking about all kinds of things related to retirement, the government shutdown, and feel free to give us a call, 612-504-8400 or havenfinancialgroup.com. Last segment, we mentioned the various educational classes, and I also wanted to point out we have our new education center here on site at our office, and we're really utilizing it. Some just kind of different types of classes. Last Friday, we had a Women, Wisdom, and Wine hour and a half class. It was full. We have waiting lists for these. It was about estate planning and peace of mind for women, and we'll have that again. And our CPA Lance, the big, beautiful bill, we had 2 classes of that, and we could have probably did 5 classes because there was a waiting list. And I think I mentioned last week we had the local police department do a senior fraud prevention. We had 2 classes. We probably could have filled 6 classes. So we are teaching. We are going to have that again in November. So go to our site. The public's welcome. Our clients are welcome. Friends, neighbors, family. We really are strong in the education piece. And guess what? Because of that, we're able to help a lot of people because education and information is really what people are seeking.
I love these interactive classes that you're having too there in the facility at the offices. I think they're really terrific, really great ideas.
And Kim, I'll say this. We like to, classes and it sounds stuffy and it sounds boring. We like to have fun with topics that aren't necessarily so fun. So if you're thinking that this is a sit down stuffy, it's interactive. And we like to have fun with these topics.
Yeah. No test at the end, right?
Absolutely not. I didn't like tests, and I don't expect you to like tests either.
Let's talk about the markets and how they sometimes can be affected by government shutdowns. This last government shutdown that we've been experiencing, the market still held pretty strong. There have been times when the market has dipped as a result. I think a lot of times the market sees it and it's built in. You sort of can see it coming, and that might prevent some, dropping off the face of the earth. But let's talk about some of the ways a government shutdown could affect the market, starting with data blackouts. That can be an issue.
Yeah, it's all about data. And the Bureau of Labor and Statistics report and other releases, GDP, they're suspended. So leaving the Fed and investors with, fewer signals of what's coming. And that can oftentimes lead itself to volatility and rumors and surprises. But as I mentioned, the markets have been very, very strong. And at the end of the day, for example, cost of living adjustment is usually announced every October. Right. Hasn't come out yet because government shut down. So as soon as they get back to work, I expect that that will be announced. So what it lends itself to is, a lot of noise, a lot of news, speculation, and that causes people to worry, which is why at all times, whether it's a government shutdown or everything's going smoothly, it's to have a comprehensive retirement plan. Stress test that portfolio to make sure you have a good balance because sequence of returns risk is so real. Mm-hmm. And if you're not prepared for it and you need cash and the market drops, now you're going to start pulling from these accounts that you don't want to start pulling from. So again, have a plan, an income distribution, tax, they all go together. Have a plan, make sure whoever you're working with, or if you're doing it yourself, you're rebalancing appropriately rather than making knee-jerk reactions or big rapid shifts in allocation when you shouldn't be doing anything different and you should be holding the course. And that's why having a partner, which is also almost a counselor, to walk you through and talk you through these things because you came up with a plan. Let's stick to the plan and not jump all over the place, which unfortunately a lot of people do.
One of the things we talk about a lot, and I know that you guys are really, feel strongly about there at Haven Financial Group, that's the diversification when it comes to your portfolio. And a government shutdown could be a perfect example of why it's so important because, as we've said, this past government shutdown, the market's been pretty strong, but sometimes it's choppy. And if you're not diversified, you could really get hit.
Oh, diversification and efficiency in the portfolio is so very, very important. And it's what a lot of people lack. It's, the whole motto of investing, buy low and sell high. Then why do a high percentage of investors do the opposite? Because they don't have a comprehensive, clearly defined strategy for what's going on. Because, really it's all about a discipline. I talk about this for years. Those that have succeeded in planning for retirement have heeded to a discipline for a long period of time, a saving strategy, and really sticking to it. You got to be aware of, what type of assets to have and the right types of accounts. You don't want to be making the wrong decisions within the accounts and then realizing taxes that you could have avoided and other things as well. Timing penalties,
Sure.
delays in checks processing, rarely stop benefits, but again, the cash flow projections. We sit down, the team sits down. We have several certified financial planners on the team, mapping out where to draw from at the right time and really maintaining that discipline, rebalancing when you're supposed to, and reviewing this. This isn't to just set it and leave it. I've said many times on the show, retirement is more than a meeting once a year for 45 minutes to an hour. It should be several meetings regarding all these retirement topics, and that all of these should be discussed. I'll walk listeners through our process, if you will. If you come in, we're going to have a detailed conversation. We're going to take a lot of notes. I call it the discovery meeting. Your goals, aspirations, where you're at with things. And that's not a 20-minute meeting. It could be an hour. It could be 2 hours. It's whatever we make of it. From there, if you decide to come back in for a strategy session, we'll come up with some suggestions, some recommendations, not because we're just trying to poke holes in what you're doing, but we're trying to fine tune and give you an understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. So you have an idea of when these bad times or these tough times happen, we have a plan, and then we'll have an implementation phase or a meeting where we implement the process and what we talked about. And then it's monitoring and adjusting. Life happens. Life's calendar doesn't cooperate with our calendar. Adjustments need to be made. Health comes into play. Life happens, and it happens quickly. You got to adapt. And I just walked listeners through our proprietary process and the relationships. Obviously, we're looking to cultivate long-term relationships, and we mean that. Most of our clients are eyeballs and handshakes. Let's get together. I get this often. Well, how often can we get together? How often do you want to get together? And it's not just with me or the investment team, but I bring Lance, our CPA, the estate planning attorney. We're a team. And when you work with us, you truly get the team. You don't get a one-man shop.
Well, I think what's really interesting is that we, this day on this show, have decided that we were going to use government shutdown as the backdrop for the discussions. And that's obviously because there have been, this has been an issue and people have been talking about it. But what you just went through, Larry, is what you do for every client, whether there's a government shutdown or not. You check their cash flow. You make sure that they're rebalancing. You make sure they're reviewing their coverages of their insurance or their taxes or how they're drawing their Social Security. This is what you do with all clients at all times.
This is what it started years ago when I got into the business. And then 10 years ago, I started the company, Haven Financial Group. And it is our motto that we really want to lead. We want to be a partner that people can rely on in any of these areas. And if you're listening, you go, wow, that's a lot of services. You guys must be really expensive. No, again, nothing's free, but transparency is so important. Every single week I talk to folks and I ask them simply, what are you paying your guy or gal to manage your money? And the answer 80% of the time is, I have no idea. Well, you should have a good idea. You should know exactly what you're paying and what you're getting. What value are you getting? I mentioned again, nothing's free. All of our clients know exactly what they're paying and what they're getting, which is added value. And again, you don't pay any more to have us as your healthcare, Medicare person. There's transparency. If you work with Carrie or Keith on the estate planning, you will always know what you're paying and what value you're getting. Because if we can't bring a value to somebody, then they need a different partner. Sure. But again, that is the passion that we have and have had now for 10 years.
612-504-8400. That's how you get hold of the folks at Haven Financial Group. We invite you to give them a call. When we come back, we're going to talk about the pitfalls of making hasty decisions during times like government shutdowns. We recognize that that can be very unnerving these times. We talk about unnerving times and making these, kind of maybe rash decisions. But we will talk about some of the things that could happen should you make those decisions when we come back right here on the Haven Financial Group Radio Show.